Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called Why Poland's Train Silence Always Shocks Western Travelers. I think, yeah, even despite people sometimes being a little bit quiet on the train or some sort of public transport, if everyone was super quiet as in silent, I think I would be a little shocked. But let's check it out and comment, like and subscribe.
Step onto a long-distance train in Poland today, and something feels different. No loud phone calls, no shouting across aisles, no TikTok blasting from speakers.
That's
just
rude.
Quiet, not enforced silence, not rules posted everywhere, but something stronger, an unspoken agreement. And here's why this matters right now. As travel across Europe becomes louder, faster, and more chaotic, Poland's train culture is quietly moving in the opposite direction. So the real question is this silence just politeness? Or is it a deeper cultural signal about respect, boundaries, and modern public life? By the end of this video, a completely new way of seeing everyday train travel may emerge. And it might explain something bigger about Poland itself. There's a specific moment many foreign travelers experience. It usually happens about 15 minutes into the journey. The train is moving, people are seated, and suddenly, the realization hits. Nobody is talking, at least, not loudly.
Okay,
A couple might whisper. Someone types on a laptop. An older passenger reads. A student stares out the window. But the expected background noise of modern life is missing. No business calls, no speakerphone conversations, no group laughter filling the carriage. Even without stepping into a designated silent zone, the atmosphere feels intentional. Almost like
Designated silent zone? What is that?
in a library that happens to move at 160 kilometers per hour. And this isn't rare, it's normal. But why?
I think it's politeness.
Many countries rely on rules. Quiet cars, announcements, signs reminding passengers to behave. But on trains operated by PKP Intercity, something else is happening. The silence isn't enforced, it's expected. Not because someone said so, but because breaking it feels socially uncomfortable. And that's a powerful difference. This isn't about fear of punishment, it's about mutual awareness. Public space is shared, and shared space comes with invisible boundaries.
Love that.
Here's something worth thinking about. When silence is voluntary rather than enforced, it becomes culture, not compliance. Want to see this culture in action? Look at how people use their phones, scrolling through social media, watching videos, listening to music. Headphones appear almost instantly, not because of announcement.
Not wearing earphones when you're listening to a video or music or whatever, when you're outside in public, I think that's insane. Some people do that, but it's extremely, extremely rude.
Not because of rules, but because playing sound out loud feels disruptive.
We're not
Even
animals.
Children are often quietly reminded,
we are,
not harshly, just gently. It's not about
domesticated.
control, it's about consideration. And here's the key question. In a world where personal devices make noise unavoidable, why does restraint still dominate here? Hold that thought, because the answer connects to something deeper.
It's a cultural thing, I guess.
From the outside, this quiet can feel distant. Some travelers interpret it as unfriendliness, but silence in Poland rarely signals rejection.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Instead, it signals respect for autonomy,
Correct.
space, emotional neutrality. In many cultures, friendliness begins with conversation. Here, politeness often begins with not intruding. Small talk with strangers on trains is uncommon. And that's not because connection is unwelcome. It's because forced interaction is seen as unnecessary.
It's rude, yeah.
The message is simple. Comfort doesn't require conversation.
I do wonder a little bit how people sort of form connections and maybe make friends if that's the case. Maybe not in public transport. That's where you go to a bar or a park or somewhere else. Who wants to be bothered when you're in the train, right?
Think about the last train journey taken recently. Was silence relaxing or awkward?
Yeah.
Drop a comment with that first reaction, because that feeling says a lot about what comfort means in different places. Public quiet in Poland didn't appear randomly. Decades of shared public life shaped it. For much of the 20th century, public environments weren't always spaces of expression. They were spaces of observation, crowded trains, shared compartments, limited privacy. In that world, emotional restraint became practical. Keeping things low-key wasn't just polite, it was safe. Even after political changes, behavioral patterns remained, and over time they transformed. From caution into courtesy.
Yeah, it's just their culture.
Silence stopped being defensive and
normal.
became respectful.
It's the baseline.
So what might seem like simple train etiquette today may actually be cultural memory.
But it's nice, it's respectful.
Compare this with trains run by operators like Deutsche Bahn. Conversation is common, phone calls are normal, energy levels are higher. In some places, trains feel like moving cafes. In Poland, they often feel like moving study rooms. Neither is right or wrong, but the difference reveals something important.
Yeah, it's just
Mobility culture reflects social values. Some societies prioritize interaction, others prioritize coexistence.
Good point.
And coexistence thrives on restraint.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but it's true.
Here's where things get interesting. Despite global trends toward louder public behavior, Polish train etiquette has stayed remarkably consistent. Even younger passengers often mirror the same quiet norms. Why? Because silence delivers something modern life increasingly lacks: mental space.
Calmness.
Time to think, time to decompress, time without stimulation. In an age of constant notifications, a quiet carriage becomes more than transport. It becomes refuge. As urbanization grows and public spaces become denser, the ability to coexist peacefully matters more than ever. And trains are a perfect testing ground. Hundreds of strangers, different moods, different goals, one shared environment. Noise could easily dominate, but instead, balance emerges. Not
And it's also quite, I think you feel quite nice just because, again, you're sort of decompressing because everything's super quiet. So it gets you, I don't know, it's less stressful in a way.
through enforcement, but through mutual understanding. So the next time silence fills a train carriage in Poland, it may not be emptiness, it may be agreement,
It's
a
respect.
quiet signal that public life doesn't need to be loud to be functional, or meaningful, or even comforting.
Yeah.
Sometimes respect sounds like nothing at all. If this perspective on everyday life in Poland brought a new insight, consider liking the video. Subscribe to The Poland for more stories hidden in plain sight. And share this with someone who's taken silence for granted. Because sometimes the quietest habits say the most.
There's a lot to say. There's a lot of communication in silence. Yeah, I love the video because I've never thought of this, but it's true. I think that they had a great point about, I think, this modern sort of life, especially I think when you're just going outside, when you're out in the world, you're in the street, you're in public transport, in the subway, in the bus. You're just surrounded, I think, usually, obviously not in Poland, but usually I think you're just surrounded by a lot of noise. And noise can be either people talking, people, like they said, because sometimes it's not even just people talking. It's just about everyone, because a lot of people just go, they're traveling alone. But they carry their phones. Obviously, everyone is in this day and age. Obviously, everyone has a phone. So everyone's just either scrolling on social media, and they're either, watching videos. They're watching videos, out loud, or, they're typing, or they have their laptops, and, they're clicking on the laptops, or again, they're listening to music. Again, the people that listen to music or just watch videos in public without earphones, I think those people should be, I don't know, we should have laws against this, because why are you subjecting me to what you're watching or what you're listening to. I think, and that's where, where respect comes from. As they were talking, they were discussing this. I think a lot of people may feel as it, I don't know, oh, because I feel I'm entitled to, maybe it's my right to, I don't know, to listen whatever I want to. Yeah, sure, but as if it's your right, then it's my right as well to be able to listen to whatever I want to. So if I want to listen to something, I'm going to put on my earphones, or if I don't want to listen to anything, then I'm not going to wear anything. I'm not going to be on my phone. Again, it's just a matter of respect. And again, there's a social, I like what they said. It's not an actual rule, as in, police are not going to come and be, you were fined. No, it's just about a social, sort of a social norm, unspoken, but enforced, as in people are going to be, it's going to be awkward. It's going to be weird. They're going to make you feel as an outsider if you don't comply by these rules, which again is a social norm, is a social custom. But I like it. Sometimes those rules are in place for a reason. For the same reason as in, I don't know, you're not gonna yell in the middle of the street, like a crazy person. That's not, again, is there a rule against this? Well, sometimes obviously if you're disrupting, I think, the city and the public, yeah, well, sure, they're gonna call the police. But again, it's just about, I don't know, everyone's gonna be looking at you a little bit strangely because you want to behave between, among the parameters, I think, of what living in a society means. Because even though, whether you like it or not, at the end of the day, everyone lives in a society. We have to interact with other people. We have to, and interaction doesn't mean specifically as in, oh, I'm saying hello to someone, I'm shaking their hands, I'm talking to them. Not necessarily, because it's not just that. It's also interacting, as in we are sharing space with other people, because that's what being a human is, and that's what living in a society actually means. So as long as like they said, where my rights, it's my right to do this. Yeah, sure. But as long as I'm not imposing anything on anyone, then yeah, sure, I can do whatever I want to, as long as it's not being harmful to anyone. And yes, this also, and obviously you may say, oh, but that's super extreme. You can watch a video and it's no, absolutely no, because why would I'm interrupting someone else? Because again, I don't know if that person wants to be listening to what I'm listening. So I do really believe it's a matter of respect, and about respect for the other. And as you have to be aware that, again, you're living in a society and there are certain social customs that you're supposed to be, you're supposed to be doing, because it's about respect. It's about respect for the other person. And it's like we kind of owe a little respect to each other, because again, we are all humans, that we're sharing the same space, and we're sharing the same space, whether that's at a train or at a bus or at a street, or just in a place. So I really do like that aspect, I think, of Polish society. Apparently it's more as it's more of a costume that they have, but it's more of a cultural thing that they do, because it's not as if you're going to be listening to, you're not going to be listening, someone on speaker saying, you have to be quiet, or you're going to be seeing the signs as saying, no talking. And it's not a jail, it's not a prison. Well, I don't know, you can actually talk in jail, right? You can speak out loud in jail. But this is not a library, as in, oh yeah, again, you're not supposed to be yelling. But I like the idea that even if you want to talk, because again, this is not as a strict thing of someone's gonna come. But if you want to talk to someone, because again, you're with a friend or someone or whatever, you can do that. But you're not going to be, oh my God, did you hear? No, it's not. You're not going to be super loud. You're just going to be, quietly speaking to them. Because again, why am I being subjected to this conversation that you're having with your friend? I mean, some people, if you like gossip, well, yeah, sure, that's nice. Even if it's with strangers, I don't care about you. I just like that when I hear the gossip. But yeah, again, I understand that usually, and obviously for most people, I don't really care about this. I don't really care about your conversation with your friend. So again, why would I subject people that have no, they don't really care about my conversation? So I'm not going to be speaking super loudly in the middle of a train because also everyone's super silent, so everyone's going to be listening to me. No, we're going to talk quietly, as because again, I owe respect to other people. I owe respect to my fellow passengers. So I really do. I love that part. I didn't know that about Poland, but I love that aspect of Polish society. It's really funny as well there because I was wondering, they showed a train, I think it was in Germany. And I don't know what the circumstances were in this clip, but I was thinking, oh yeah, because again, I don't know if that's the case, but usually, when there's either an event as, I don't know, a concert or a football game, people get rowdy on trains because obviously either, if it's a concert, everyone's going to be everyone's in the concert. Well, some people are not going to said concerts, or they're going to be, oh my God, what's happening? Or again, if you're not going to the football game, but usually there's a lot of everyone gets on, and it's just I think the public, it's a little bit more, I don't know, rowdier than usual and louder than usual because there's a certain event. So I don't know if that was the case with Germany in the clip that they showed, but I was wondering what happens when there's an event on some Polish town, an event as in a concert, or as I don't know how big Polish people are when it comes to sports. I would assume football is also quite big there. I guess I don't know, but I would assume, just because in Europe people tend to really like football, so I would assume they're really into football as well. So what happens when there's the locals, your local team is playing? Do they also respect this rule, or no? That's where things go out of the window and people are a little bit more. Again, they're a little bit rowdier. They're a little bit, they're speaking a little bit loudly, because sometimes even they start chanting, right? The trains and stuff. They start chanting, they're for their team and stuff. So I would love to know if that's the case there, or do they still respect that? Because wow, massive respect if they do actually entail that. They enforce that, as they know, yeah, we still have to maintain, decorum, even though our local team is playing. I would love to know, but yeah, that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.